Gina Rinehart must rank as one of the great and successful Australians. The fact that she gets no credit for that is the consequence of one issue and one issue only. She holds views which are critical of all governments for very legitimate reasons. It was way back in 2017 that she was urging the government, then led by Malcolm Turnbull, to cut spending and waste to make Australia attractive to investors. Spending and waste. Look where we are now. She said then, quote, "We have to cut out a big slab of expensive government. It is very frustrating that there's wastage going on and so little attention, real attention, is given to making ourselves attractive for investment," unquote. I mean, do you think investors are going to be attracted by the stupidity of our energy policy and costs? Back in 2017, Gina Rinehart urged Malcolm Turnbull to cut taxes and red tape. She was whistling in the dark. She said, "As a high-cost country competing internationally, we really are struggling with the high cost of government. We have to cut regulations, cut our approvals, our permits, our licences, and our compliance burdens. We'll have to do something about our taxes because you can't compete internationally if you're not competitive." Now, that was 5 years ago. Here we are with a worker shortage. Gina Rinehart made the point that I have made often. Let non-violent prisoners work. Why couldn't they be allowed to join the workforce in the clean-up after the floods and have their prison terms reduced following an evaluation of the work that they've done? As Gina Rinehart said at the time, under Trump, quote, "So many of the states in America are making sure that instead of building new prisons, plus the operating costs, the non-violents are getting sent out to work. They pay for their crime, whether it's petty theft or driving too quickly." Now, at the same time in 2017, another Australian billionaire, Anthony Pratt, announced that he would be investing another $2 billion in the United States, his words, quote, "to create an additional 5,000 high-paying manufacturing jobs," unquote, because Trump had made, quote, "America the greatest place in the world to manufacture," unquote. At the time, I made the point 5 years ago that the Pratt decision and the Rinehart comments were a brutal reminder that Australia then was making itself dangerously uncompetitive. But government ignored both Rinehart and Pratt, and now we've got energy costs going through the roof. The number of pages of Commonwealth environmental law has exploded 80-fold since 1971, 80-fold. Many times, Gina Rinehart has said that when she tried to establish her now very successful Roy Hill mine, she had to navigate her way through, get ready for this, over 4,000 regulatory approvals, permits, licences, the lot. And she was building the largest single iron ore mine in Australia, 277 kilometres south of Port Hedland. 50,000 people worked on the project. And she despairs about Australia, and the politicians hate it. The truth is, this country has gone mad on a million fronts, and there are very few with the guts to do anything about it. I've always argued that instead of these Australia Day honours, we should publish a list of the top 100 taxpayers in the country, because they keep keeping the show going. Enter again Gina Rinehart, the largest private company taxpayer in Australia. Yet it's only a few years ago that the tax office said that 98 private companies earning over $200 million paid no tax. Companies are using tools such as profit shifting to overseas entities in low tax jurisdictions to make sure a large part of their Australian revenue is not taxable income. Who in government is prepared to do the tough stuff? It appears no one. Well, while talking about Gina Rinehart, may I make one unflattering comment about her? She won't mind me saying it. She knows very little about sport. Yet she has emerged as sport's finest benefactor. She's now thrown a multi-million-dollar lifeline to Netball Australia, whose finances could only be described as dire, with debts of about $4 million due and payable at the end of this year.